And as you're going to read on, Adam and Eve have that shame. They try to hide it, not realizing that God's going to notice they put something on. Everything's new. Their minds are very much like children in the fact that they're still learning, and sin has never happened, so they're learning as they go. Also, because man was taken out of woman, because God made a man and God made a woman, one man, one woman, not two men and one woman, not two women and one man, or more than that, not two men, not two women, one man, one woman, made from man. They are one because God designed it that way. And they are supposed to come together and become one as a husband and wife, not just maritally, the wedding night type stuff, but they need to be of one mind and one heart. And yes, you are an independent person, but when you come together and have intercourse, you become one with that person forever. So these people who have a body count, they are one with each one of those people. And each one of those people that they have been one with is now connected to them. They are connected to all those people. And that is not how God created it. And our bodies tend to pay a price for that sin. Our bodies feel the sin. And that is why there are so many STDs. When you're out there doing that high body count and doing things the way God did not create, you are going to pay a price. A lot of women have cervical cancer, and there are all sorts of cancers related to that. The more promiscuous you are, the more prone you are to really serious kinds of cancer. And that's actually by design. When you sin, there is death. It's not necessarily an instant death, but when you sin, there is death. And when you repeat that sin, it becomes more so and more so. So you layer these problems on top of each other, and your body can only hold so much. Your spirit can only hold so much. And that is why so many people fall into despair. It's okay. There's a Savior. He can save you from your sin. And you can turn. And He will make your heart and your mind new every single day that you let Him. When you're surrendered to Him, you become new. And Phil Robertson, I'm sure many people know his story. He lived in sin like a crazy madman, I think until the age of 26, that he was just, it was like 10 years where he just was crazy. Just sleeping around, and drugs and alcohol and wild fist fights and I mean, scary kind of guy. Kicked out his own family, his really sweet family who had done him no wrong, but his conviction, his understanding of his own sin, he couldn't handle their being there because they reminded him of his sin, and he kicked them out. And then God brought him to his senses, and he gave his heart to Jesus, and he turned so completely in the other direction. He just was so on fire for God. But he still was tempted to sin. And he asked his pastor one day, how long is this going to go on? And the pastor said, well, how long have you been living that lifestyle? And he's like, about 10 years or so. I can't remember the exact date, but roughly about 10 years. And the pastor said, well, yeah. So, it's going to take a while for you to kind of become that new person because you have been so steeped in it and so intensely in this that, of course, it's going to be temptation. And some people never lose that temptation, but temptation is not sin. Jesus was tempted in every way, but He did not sin. Temptation is having the desire and the thoughts and the feelings to do something wrong, but not doing it is not sinning. Doing it is sinning. So, yes, and a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. That is something else to also remember. When a man becomes a husband, when he marries a woman, he is supposed to leave his parents and become a man. They are no longer to dictate his life. He is supposed to be the one leading his family to Christ. That is the goal of any husband. My husband does that, and I am very grateful that he leads, and he does not expect his mom, his father's passed away, he doesn't expect his mom to be his mom. Other than she loves him. She takes, they talk. They're friends, but she is not like a mom to a little child, being like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and micromanaging his life. He steps up and he's like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide for my family. I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to love them. I'm going to show them Jesus. I'm going to help them be excited about going to church. And that is one thing that is awesome. I love that about my husband. And also one thing about my husband that I love is that he scolds me when I refuse to take care of myself. So he makes me stop and take care of myself. And that's incredible. And I'm grateful. I am out of time for this episode. But just so you know, a godly man, he takes care of his family. And he sometimes has to get firm with his wife. I'm not talking about it in a mean way. I'm talking about in that way that's coming from love. Hey, stop overdoing things and take care of yourself so that you can be healthier and you will live longer, and I don't want to lose you kind of stuff, and I don't want you to be miserable, and I want you to be happy and healthy and thrive. That is something that my husband has done so many times, and God, I love him for it. I love him for it. You have to respect a man like that. You have to love a man like that. Because, he starts gently, and as I ignore him, he kind of ratchets this up, and he's like, no. And I love that. I love that he keeps me on track. And it's not because somebody else is telling him how to do it. He has known from his parents raising him up and letting him go. I love it. It's one of the many things I love about my husband. All right, I will see you on the next episode. Until next time, be blessed.